Hello friends of Mundo Nómada, I'm Enrique Roblonsky. While we are still restricted from traveling the world, today I bring you a pre-pandemic history when we traveled to Mount Rainier, the highest mountain in Washington state in the Northwest United States, at 14,100 feet. All along the road, we can see the top of the mountain that is calling us as a beacon to its summit before we reach the entrance to the park. There, we met a family of climbers. 4 generations had gathered at the community center of the national park to talk to ABClatino and pay tribute to who began the tradition of climbing and was no longer with them. So I've been telling you that one of the interesting things here is that you meet people from all around the world. But what I didn't expect is to find here a 4th-generation family of mountaineers. And we have the 4 generations here with us, so we're going to talk about mountain stories with them.
A friend of ours who had just come back from a 15-day backpacking trip into the Olympic Mountains, and we saw his slideshow, and something that we thought, my husband Ted and I thought we would want to do. And he said, take the mountaineering class at Olympic College, the community college, next spring. And we did, and the rest is history.
When I was 16 years old, the mountaineering class that my mother just spoke of, I took with my dad.
So in high school, I used to train with my father. I loved to run and to bicycle. And he would, when he was training for one of his climbs, would put his pack on, and then we'd hike, jog, and bike right around the lake. That would help him train for some of his climbs to be in shape. It was great.
One of the trips was a rock climb up on Mount Si, and it was a little bit scary. It was steep, and the whole time I was thinking that I was going to have to down climb that, but instead we got to come down on a little goat trail, so it was not just, steep rock face.
Family vacations were centered around outdoor adventures, whether it be mountain biking or hiking and camping.
Always have loved the outdoors since I was a kid. My family camped in the Olympics in Rainier, so it's only natural that I pass it on to our children.
So for me, those have been some of my greatest memories and something that I'm trying to pass down to my children as well. So. This is a photograph of Ted Balter, my grandfather, who was a mountain man.
And he right here is on the Blue Glacier, which is on Mount Olympus, which is in the Olympic Mountains in Washington State. And he used to go up with a buddy, and they would take their little ice pick, and they would pick chunks of ice and put them in a cup that they brought with them, and then they'd pour their scotch over the ice, and then they would toast to each other.
My husband was in Olympic mountain rescue. Was called on many mountains where people had gotten lost or injured. Mountain rescue was very intensive training that they went through, both with the climbing, but also with medical.
And my dad instilled, physical health and well-being, and he promoted that through nature and taught us all the different names of plants and trees on our hikes.
My dad taught me how to fish in a little lake that you could walk around, but I caught my first fish there.
And it was a joyous thing until he had his heart attacks, and he stayed in base camp at radio, said he didn't want to be the one that they had to pack out.
He was just such a great guy to help us get going, and Mom kept it going, and here we are today up the mountains.
And I'm bringing his photograph up on the mountain with us today to honor his legacy of being a mountain man.
I have climbed Mount Olympus in the Olympic National Forest 5 times. I've done quite a few of the mountains in the Olympic Mountains.
I took a 2-week hiking trip through the Olympic Mountains when I was 16, and we went in the Salduck Park and came out the Hoe. During that time we went up to High Divide, and we went over and hiked, climbed Mount Olympus, which I've done twice.
And I've climbed Mount Whitney and been up to base camp at Rainier twice, and Mount Whitney in Washington, California. And then I've climbed some mountains on Ben Nevis and another mountain in Scotland and Wales. So that was an adventure.
We dreaded Sunday evening because eventually they would get a call of somebody lost on Mount St. Helens. And both of us have climbed Mount St. Helens before it blew. In fact, as the main climbing route is where the big blow on the mountain is. So it looks totally different when we first climbed it.
That mountaineering course that I took when I was 16 years old, I met my children's father. His name was Alan White, and we used to sit by each other on the bus and that, but there was a picture that my father had taken, and it was way before we even started dating, Alan and I, that we are on the top of Mount Si, that rock climb, and it's just a picture of just the two of us. Little did we know that 5 years later we would be married. And there's tons of memories from that trip, but there's not enough time to tell them.
It was not only the mountain climbing, but being sure that you had the proper equipment, the proper shoes, not tennis shoes if you were going to hike in the snow, because that's dangerous. You didn't wear cotton jeans if you're going in the snow. Also, you carried what they call the 10 essentials.
The 10 essentials: map, compass, sunglasses and sunscreen, extra clothing, flashlight, first aid supplies, fire starter, matches, knife, and extra food.
And also, when you're planning a trip, you would definitely should leave your itinerary with at least 2 people at home, and never deviate from that itinerary, because if you don't show up at a time that you say you're going to, then rescue gets called in, and they head for where you said you were going to be. And if you're not there, it makes it dangerous for them as well as for you, because it takes us longer to find you. And sometimes the finding hasn't turned out as well as what you'd hoped it would be, that somebody had actually died.
And with these handy tips, we decided to follow the path to base camp, or at least portions of it, to show you the beautiful views of this grade of the land that embraces the clouds. Right from the get-go, the landscape around and in front of us becomes majestic. A halo of clouds surround the tip of the mountain and extend down to me with its ethereal mantle. The most luxuriant and the most extravagant beautiful of all the alpine gardens I ever beheld in all my mountaintop wanderings. John Muir, conservationist, 1889. And yes, friends, here we are in Mount Rainier in Washington State. This is the peak that you can see from almost everywhere across this beautiful alpine state, and we're going to embark on the adventure of climbing it. So come with us and let's see how far we can get. The interesting thing about being in these places is that you find people from all over the world. You have expert alpineers or climbers, you have novices, you have people that come for the first time, you have people that have come many, many times. The beauty is just breathtaking. Okay, we started at 4,500 feet. At the parking lot level, we have been climbing. You can see it because of my panting right now. I don't know how far up we have gone. Probably we are about 5,000 feet, but the top of the mountain is still very far up and it's above 10,000 feet. Probably this is as far as I will get. I will stop here for some breath, some water, and heading back. Nomadic friends, here at Mount Rainier, Enrique Roblonsky for ABClatino Nomada, saying goodbye from this adventure with my new friend Oscar and going into the new adventure. Stay tuned to ABC Latino on Facebook, on Instagram, and also Instagram for abclatino.nomada. Till the next adventure. Bye!